Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It's November. Woohoo! And welcome to New Earth Rising. I'm Michele Sharon, the Awakener, one of many. Chances are you guys are awakeners too. We're all awakening together. And as we do our work and we awaken ourselves, we awaken everyone. And we're here with Sharon. Yay! We got so much fun for you guys. We're going to have a great show for you guys today. Sharon, what's up?
Hey, Michele. Yeah, we were just talking about hello, everyone, about, hey, we're a little confused on the time because here on the West Coast, I don't know about some parts of the country, maybe Arizona, if they change their clocks or not. I'm
There's
not
a
sure.
few.
Yeah. So we're like, what? This is weird. What time is it again? So, and Michele hasn't changed her clocks yet. So it's a little confusing. Anyway, we're not that confused when it comes to sharing what we're going to share today because it doesn't take much to confuse us in some things, but in this kind of stuff,
we know what we're doing.
We pretend we do at least. And but now, yeah, we hope that that whatever we do here can help in some way and help open up some doorways for you and maybe trigger some memories perhaps too, and help people want to look more and search more and research and have experiences and go within in some ways. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, do some research, look into stuff, because that's one of the things is, Sharon and I were talking about that we both know a lot of stuff and we both are perpetual students. So we're always studying. We're always doing things. And it's really funny because a lot of times Sharon will be like, I'm learning this. I'm like, well, I'm learning this. And sometimes they're kind of like, they're a little diametrically opposed, but it's really weird because then they start coming back in. And it's really neat to see how everything fits together, and it's amazing. All these different pieces of little bits here and there that we've known, the ties that bind, the lines are being connected, the dots are being connected to what this means in different words for the same things. And there's so much information coming up right now. It is just like,
it is.
And it's so exciting. It's so exciting. I love it.
Amazing. I know it's amazing. And we were talking earlier and I was saying that there's no way just a few years ago, not that long ago, I would have even imagined that I'd be doing a YouTube video talking about this kind of stuff,
Right.
Even though I've always been an avid reader and I didn't really have a lot of people to talk with about the stuff that I study. And then I'm a traveler, out of my traveler and things like that, and have lots of experiences. So I just feel so honored that this is happening during these times that Michele and I are here. And I love Michele so much.
I love you
too.
too.
And that we're on this journey and that we're all helping each other and we're learning from each other too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And it's so fun to have a buddy to be able to get on here and talk about this stuff because it's so fun. We have the most amazing conversations. We say it all the time. We've been doing the show for almost a year, and all the time it's like, oh man, we should have been recording that.
I know. Yeah, I think we just have to hit record as soon as we start talking.
And just
Or
start
as soon as we
yakking.
come on. Yeah. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about some really cool stuff today that we want to be relevant for sure. And that's the way we are, because we are relevant. We're up on what's going on in the ascension process and on our planet and our galaxy, basically, somewhat.
Yeah.
Sexual alchemy came to me this morning. That might be a good topic. And during my meditation, I was getting information more and more about how why not we need to really bring that back into who we are, especially in feminine as masculine. I do feel that the sacredness of our sexuality has been kind of taken away from us.
It's been compromised.
Compromised, thank you.
Yeah, or distorted. We were using that word earlier too. It's become an ugly thing.
Yeah. And there's lots of reasons for that, of course, religions and not all of them, but some, mainstream religions.
Yeah.
And also, I do believe that the entertainment industry that a lot of us, especially young people, are so invested in, has really distorted our
Power.
sexual power. Thank you, because that is our strongest power, and these people know what they're doing, right?
Yep.
And so it's
Yep.
yeah, it's been distorted so bad and inverted to where it's not sacred anymore.
Yeah.
It's to sell this, sell that, you know, and also to
Control.
yeah, and to sexualize young people, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Yeah,
Yep.
children,
Yep.
and so we wanted to talk about the sacredness of sexual alchemy and how we, from our viewpoint and what we've learned and experienced ourselves, and how it can be so powerful that we can move mountains with sexual energy as long as we know how to
Yeah.
bring that within us. And if we have a partner, we don't even have to have, you don't have to have a partner
No.
to run this sexual energy through your body, your um, energetic bodies, and your physical body.
Yeah. There's a lot of different practices too.
Mhm.
There's Kundalini, there's white Tantra that all teaches that moving of that energies that's at the base of the tailbone, right?
Mhm.
We've heard about that. The Magdalene Manuscripts by Tom Kenyon is a beautiful book that teaches practices that are very, very powerful and very clean. They're really pure, they're really simple. And it's what was taught in the schools of Isis and Horus, is how to use that. It's what Mary Magdalene worked with Yeshua on how to move that energy and to move it up the body, up through the chakras, and up to the pineal gland. When the pineal gland is fed with that beautiful energy, it opens the crown chakra, and that's heaven, right? That's when you connect to heaven. And that's part of why this energy has been so perverted. That's why the Madonna was a unattainable
Mhm.
thing, because she was, became pregnant without having sex. Oh my God. And so we're all supposed to live up to that, right? Don't have sex. It's a dirty, dirty thing. Because Mary Magdalene was a hoe and she was the bad one, right?
Yeah.
And it started way back then, probably started way before that. But it's our sacred energy. It's our spiritual energy.
Mhm.
And a lot of people, it's very repressed in their bodies. We have so many people have back problems with their tailbones, back, hips. And that's that energy. It's trapped there. It's meant to move. It is meant to move up and down the spine. It's meant to activate the chakras. It's meant to activate the pineal gland. It's meant to feed the brain and keep it young. And we're not using it.
Yeah.
We're not using it right.
We're not using it right.
Right.
Yeah. And if you are, kudos to you.
Yes.
Good for you.
Make
Yes,
some
because
comments
I'm
down
sure.
there. We want to hear
Yeah,
about that.
definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was the one who taught me about Tantra. He taught me this when 20 years ago or so, when we were working really uh, close together in my awakening. And I went through I've mentioned it here before, quickening, spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And but he helped me understand the importance of honoring that
Yeah.
sexual connection with a partner, and that you can move that energy together if if you have a partner that where you're on the same frequency type of thing
Yeah.
or similar frequency, and explode that. I mean, bring that orgasmic feeling, that bliss, up the chakras,
Yeah.
and like Michele was talking about, and move it through the crown, where we have that blissful experience. And I think we talked about this before, where I believe that orgasm. That orgasm is the
Proper
closest thing we
orgasm.
have. Yeah, the closest thing we have to
Yeah,
feeling the Godhead, God, that blissful feeling. Um,
that
and so,
nirvana. That's
yeah,
what I've always liked, nirvana.
yeah. But you can use sexual alchemy, use that energy, that powerful energy to create, create what you would want in life. And Michele and I were talking earlier, of course, and so I realized that when I was practicing this, first started practicing it before, when I got to that state, which doesn't happen very often because it takes a lot of time and work to be there, I realized that there isn't anything that I want or need. I
Right.
have it right here. I have it already. I have it within me. So it working through all the blocks and all the things that keep us tied to this matrix and in this illusion that we need this and we need that
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be happy, kind of thing. So working through those blocks is really important in bringing those energies
Yeah.
to
And
your
let's talk
spine.
about working through the blocks, because I trained in Tantra and I've trained in Kundalini, and they're
Mhm.
both the same thing. It's moving the energies up. But also, you don't want to hop in and start doing those practices until you've cleared and done, your shadow work and done some of this stuff, because that Kundalini energy is very, very powerful. And you want to clear your chakras. You want to do the shadow work. You want to do some of the work, training with Kundalini, training in a Tantra practice. You do a lot of work before you really start moving that energy.
Yeah.
Even Paramahansa Yogananda and the Self-Realization Fellowship does a lot of that too. I actually studied minutely with it. It was so cool, but I had a really powerful Kundalini awakening many years ago in a meditation. It didn't have anything to do with sexuality or anything, but the way they meditate activated that energy. And it was all of a sudden I heard fire, and I was just there in that space. It was amazing. But
Wow.
then everything started getting tingly, right? The whole
Yeah.
body. And it was before I'd done a lot of my shadow work. And it was really interesting because going home, all of a sudden it was like, I don't want to be here. Don't want to be on this planet. I want to be back at that place again. How do I get back there? What do I do? And it wasn't a dark night of a soul, but it was an awakening to, what am I doing here and why am I here? It helped me to get here to where I'm at. But there was a lot of work that needed to be done. I had a lot of shadow work. I had a lot of past life stuff going on. I had a lot of stuff, childhood stuff. It's all the stuff we all have, right? It's the normal stuff, but we need to work through that to do that. And it can be done through, like Sharon is saying, sexual alchemy. It can be done through Kundalini work, Tantra work. I'm sure there's other things too. Paramahansa Yogananda and his work that he brought with us, or with him, with us. Was that a slip? Was that maybe with him? And it's so important to do that chakra work too. And Sharon and I was kind of cool because we were talking about this and it was like, well, how do you do it? Well, how do you do it? We have two totally different ways, which is awesome. And I think we should share it
Sure.
with you guys, because if you guys are interested in this, working with your chakras is super important. You've got to understand the chakras, because the Kundalini energy, this tantric energy, goes around the chakras, right? One side goes up around one and one side goes up around the other. It moves up through the neck. It stimulates the nervous system, and then it secretes hormones into the pineal gland and awakens the pineal gland. It's called the milk and honey. You guys will read that in the Bible. You read it in the Mahabharata teachings. You'll read it in the Bhagavad Gita. You read it in a lot of stuff about the milk and honey, and that's what they're talking about. It's two different, and I can't remember what they're called. Can't remember the chemicals right now, but the milk and honey paves the way to heaven. But you got to work with the chakras, because you get some of that powerful energy hitting the chakra, especially the navel chakra, right? And the solar plexus chakra. We've got all these programming stuck. We got all this emotional, and it can activate stuff really good. That's what do they call that? They used to have a term for it, like when it activated stuff, that's shadow stuff. I keep wanting to call it Kundalini rising, but that's not
Oh,
what it's called.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally what my guides taught me, what Yeshua taught me for chakra work is to do this at least once a day, maybe before you go to sleep. And and whenever in your meditations, I do a little, it doesn't take that long, 5 to 7 minutes. And just focus on starting at the base of the spine, focus on the chakras and the colors of the chakras, and spin. Imagine they're spinning and spinning light and the color through them. Like red would be the root, and the sacral would be orange, and the colors of the rainbow, yellow, solar plexus, and move up the spine where those chakras are located, and all those glands are that where we process our life, and move. And what we're doing is clearing and cleansing, and then take care of anything that comes up with
Right.
them, right? And move up to the heart and the throat and the brow and then the crown, and just do that. And it doesn't have to be anything that's difficult. And just moving those energies and go with however it flows, because they can flow in different directions at in different times, depending on whether we're releasing energy or we're bringing energy in to cleanse and clear. So that's what I was taught. And this
And then
is it. Go
Oop,
ahead.
I'm share real quick what I do. I
Yeah.
use the violet flame, a limitless transmutation. And I
Mhm.
actually have a meditation on my YouTube channel, and I have it everywhere. I should have it on my website. I need to get it on my website. And you bring the violet flame, and just like that purple flame, because the violet flame is the threefold flame. It is the blue, the pink, and the gold, the threefold flame of the 13th, 14th, and 15th dimension. It is that the highest dimensions that we have access to, and then there's God, right?
Right.
And so it's a super high vibration. You bring it in, you wrap it around your body, you let it begin to transmute and transform, transcend, what's in your fields. And then you bring it, just like you were talking about, you bring it into each of the chakras.
Mhm.
And, I teach my people to do things like I release any or let go.
Yeah.
We're trying not to use the word release anymore, because we're learning about the power of the spells of words. Release is like releasing it. It's like I'm re-renting it. I'm taking it
Re-renting it.
back.
Yeah, we
I'm
don't want
like,
to do
oh
that.
no. So we're letting go of anything in the root chakra, and you work your way up, and you kind of take your time, but it doesn't need to take more than 10 minutes. And really give yourself permission to really pay attention and feel what you're feeling, feel what comes up, and allow yourself to be aware of it, and then allow it to be transmuted
Yeah.
and move all the way up. And usually it's the lower three chakras, right? Those are the chakras of the lower body. Those are the chakras of this third dimensional realm. And so it's that root chakra, it's that emotional energy, the navel chakra, it's that programming, belief systems, and the solar plexus. And once you get those kind of clear and moving, and then you get to the heart, and it's like, oh, right? The
Yeah.
other chakra is a little bit easier. We still have stuff.
Well,
But the
yeah,
more
the
you
heart.
do it,
For some people, the heart is a tough one. There's a lot of grief stored in the
and
heart,
that's
that kind of
true.
thing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, that's a really good. I also have the chakra meditation on my YouTube channel as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
perfect.
yeah,
You got
totally.
2 things you guys can do now. One in
And
the
why not
morning,
use both
one at
together?
night.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, and I in my meditation this morning, my morning meditation, I was getting to focus on my sacral, and I focused on my sacral and just felt that energy just start to grow and grow, and I felt this pulsing in my in my sacral chakra. Felt this energy building in my sacral, and I didn't go further than that, but it was just it it was a I don't know how, is a clue for me how to get back to doing things like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because I don't work on that on a regular basis of moving the Kundalini.
yeah.
Yeah. But I do work on my chakras on a regular basis, but I don't think about that. But and so I was getting information during my meditation as well, that we as we're ascending and moving into the higher vibrations, we need to claim our sovereign sexuality. And we talked about sovereign too. We could talk about that and what we think that is, our sovereign sexuality, what was given to us as our right in a sacred way, the sacred manner, rather than it being, because there's a lot of people in the new age, or I shouldn't say new age, but in our circles that are practitioners, that have open hearts, that have been sexually abused, if not, maybe not this lifetime, but in lots of lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the feminine has been abused in many ways, and so is the masculine, but the feminine, we're starting to step into our power now. And part of that is our sexuality, our sacred sexuality. Yeah. What I was going to say was, as you're bringing that energy, and I was during my experience in my meditation, is that you can have an orgasm with your mind. Yes, you can. I know you can,
Absolutely can.
because you can.
And it's a lot more than what you're thinking, because it's an all over.
Yeah.
The whole body, like Sharon, you were saying earlier, the whole body wakes up.
Yes.
The whole
Yes.
body comes to life, because it feeds this beautiful energy, the sacred energy, through the chakras. The chakras feed it into every cell of the body, into the mitochondria, the light body, all the way into the DNA. And that's why we were wanted to touch on the DNA today too,
Yeah.
because that's how we're going to repair our DNA. That's what's going to help us truly ascend, is repairing that DNA, that broken, changed DNA. Don't get me started on that one.
Yeah, unplugged. Unplugged. So we're plugging it back in.
Plugging it back in.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been about 5 or 6 years ago. Actually, it's been more than that. It's been about 7, 8 years ago now. I had a hip injury, and I was having a really hard time healing it. And I got involved with some people who are all into doing dark magic-y stuff. And I now have found out, it's taken me a while, that they went at my Kundalini energy. And that was what exacerbated and made all this worse. So now that I'm finally going, oh, okay, that's what was going on. And this is part of what is happening in our world, with the perversions and the distortions around sexual energy, is they're going at that energy and trying to kind of bind it in the lower chakras, so it can't rise, so it won't rise.
Yes, because that's our power.
It's our power.
That is our power. And they, the controllers who are not controlling us anymore, it's all up to us now, do not want that. Do not want us to wake up and realize how powerful we really are. And it's the serpent. You know that the serpent, interestingly enough, the serpent is depicted in the Garden of Eden as evil or bad.
Right. Where it's really the Kundalini energy. And when you wake it up, God.
So, yeah, so interesting that Eve has picked the apple off the tree, which could mean metaphorically that she was tasting her sexual alchemy, that her sexual sexuality, their sacred sexuality, that kind of thing. And then the writers, I totally believe it's got to be Enlil that wrote the Old Testament, and made him the god of debauchery and everything, yeah. And so the serpent, and so the serpent comes around, so her serpent's coming around, and the serpent is depicted as bad, and so she is depicted, let me think, I can't remember the story. That so the serpent tells her to take a bite. She takes a bite of the apple, right? Is that how it goes?
Yeah. Well, didn't she have Adam take the bite?
Oh, Adam took the bite.
Or did
Okay.
she take the bite?
And it could be knowledge.
Yeah, it's the tree of knowledge. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
Don't
Right.
do it. And the snake said, see here.
I know, but isn't that interesting? So, I mean, we live in an inverted world, but it's turning back up, right?
Yeah.
So that makes so much sense now with the serpent that that could be representative of the Kundalini.
Yep.
Kundalini. Yeah.
Yep. It's like, bite that apple. Find out what this is about. And, maybe that needed to be done for us to find our way back.
Right.
There's so many, it's fascinating now because they're starting to find old Bibles that the stories are very different. They just found a Bible called the Kolbrin Bible, Kolbrin. I just got a PDF copy of it. It's like, oh my gosh. And it's from the 1400s. The stories are very different.
Wow.
And to see how it's been changed and changed and changed again.
Right.
And it's fascinating. The problem with that Bible is it's a lot of these and thys and heretofore. It's written in Old English and it's really hard to read.
Hard to follow.
Yeah, but it's fascinating.
So,
When
I read those, I have to think, okay, who is thy?
Who's
and
thee,
who
they,
is
though,
thee?
the. It's like pronouns now. He, she, they, them.
Okay,
Like, what
who
are
is
you
that?
talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, and the stories of the Bible have been twisted and turned. And especially in the last big one that was done, King James, it was changed. The stories were changed, the characters were changed, the outcomes were changed to serve the purpose that was needed at that time. And so we don't really even know who picked the apple, who bit the apple, and what was that snake doing there talking to people? And what were they smoking?
And why is it bad that that you eat an apple anyway?
Right. And
what's
and
wrong with
God's
having
like,
knowledge?
right.
Yeah.
And God's like, oh, here's a beautiful tree, but don't eat from it.
Don't eat
That
from
doesn't
it.
sound like a loving God to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure that
Yep.
was Enlil. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, don't eat this. I'm going to put it right here. It's like, I remember, God, I was doing something with somebody and they're like, Kia, I'm going to put this right there. Don't touch it, but I'm going to leave it right there. Don't touch it though. It's like, that's just mean.
That's like telling somebody, don't turn around. Don't turn around. Or don't think about an elephant.
Yeah.
Do not think about an elephant.
It's like, come on. Poor Adam and Eve, they're in heaven. They're just in Eden, living their good life, and you come along and mess it all up. Doesn't make sense. And the snake.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the serpent. I've always loved snakes, so I never did understand why the serpent is depicted as evil, because I love snakes.
Yeah.
I always did.
And, ancient, teachings, the snake was good. It was the Kundalini. It was the spiritual
totally.
energy, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about DNA. What we were going to talk about.
Let's talk about DNA.
Yeah.
They messed that up too. They, them, they. Darn.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are. We do, but we don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are. Yeah. We're not going to name names, Enlil and Enki, but we won't name names. That's not their real names anyway. So that's their alias. Okay. So
it's their alien aliases.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Kitty. Excuse me.
Thought one of them walked in on you.
So Enlil's here. He's pissed now.
You don't want Enlil there. Enki, yeah, but not Enlil. Okay. So it's funny that Michelle and I both saw a Billy Carson video around the same time. I mean, yeah, and it makes so much sense that, and I've always had the intuition, I'm sure you have too, Michelle, that our DNA is actually a recorder, right? Records
absolutely.
everything, yeah. And our mRNA is the messenger. So what Billy Carson shared in his video was that 1 gram of DNA, 1 gram, little tiny piece of DNA, can hold 700 terabytes of data
Wow.
in 1 gram.
Wow.
Our DNA, our blood, is the most sought after thing in the galaxy, probably in the universe. Yeah.
That's why
But
they're
in our
all here.
galaxy.
Chrome.
Yeah.
Because we're delicious.
And we're royal. We're royalty. We have,
And we are the royal bloodlines.
we are royal bloodlines. Yeah. So, so with that information, I mean, that is absolutely amazing. He said that there was a dude, a scientist named George Church, who was able to download an audiobook onto a piece of DNA. He's using DNA, he's doing scientific experiments, research, download an audiobook onto DNA, and then upload it from the DNA back to the computer server again. Into the audiobook.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes. So we are more computerized than we think we are. Computer type. We're a hard drive. We're a walking hard drive, basically.
We are walking hard drive.
Yeah, and then we install software every once in a while. But then he said, in one drop of our body, our DNA, we store 13.5. We store 13.5 billion years of data, which he says is the age of the universe.
Wow.
13.5 billion years of data, which means that we have the universe inside of us.
Yeah. We know everything.
We do.
We
We have
everything.
it. That's why we say everything we need is within.
Yep. And we're so programmed to look outward. What do you have to say? I need your acquiescence. I need you to like me. What does the ruler say? What does the government say? What do they say? What is it? And we have it all inside. And that's why developing your intuitive skills, developing your chakras, doing Kundalini work, doing all this stuff is so important, because it awakens that inner platform. It awakens the inner world that you have within, because that's the real thing. That's what's real. All this out here is projections. You're playing in everybody's projections on this great big hologram.
Yes, totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our DNA projects out there too.
Yes, that's
right?
our projections. And so we only see a small spectrum of the light spectrum. It's a tiny
Right.
bit of the light, total light spectrum. And so we only see the projection that we have in front of us. There's so much
Exactly.
more.
Right.
So much more. It's infinite. Of course, we know we're infinite. The universe is infinite. We know that. Oh, and another thing is that Microsoft has created the first DNA hard drive.
That can't be good.
So what that means is it's good because we can store DNA. They can store DNA in a hard drive and teleport us, which we're already doing anyway.
Right.
So just like Star Trek.
Yeah. Which is cool. And that's what, like Corey Good and some of those people that have had some of those experiences, they're being teleported.
Yeah.
They're going, it's taking them, 15 minutes to get to Mars.
Right. But it won't even take that long, because teleportation
It's
is instant. You've watched Star
I think they
Trek.
have to stop off at Mercury for a second.
Okay.
I don't think it's a straight shot.
Why? Is there
they have a really good
Starbucks there or something? Okay.
They make the best hamburgers there.
Must be a Starbucks. Okay. I wouldn't doubt it if there's Starbucks in space on planets.
Oh my gosh.
There's one in every corner on our planet.
I love it. But yeah, it's amazing. And what's so cool is, a lot of this stuff has been known for a long, long time.
Right.
A lot of this stuff is this super secret stuff that they can't tell us because it would blow our minds. And it's all starting to come up. And we have to think too, if we're getting this, how much more there is, because they're kind of letting it come out little bit by little bit. And there's a lot of people that can't even handle what we're talking about.
Right. And that's the good news, is this information is coming out slowly. It's within 10 years, this is going to be just normal conversation. This is going to be normal stuff. We're going to be taking shuttle spaceships, to Mars and the moon, and being teleported to different parts of the planet or other planets.
My granddaughter and I are going to start a new company where we get flying cars, and it's going to be called Uber Chopper. And we're going to be Ubers, but we're going to be flying cars. We're going to fly people around in their Ubers, in our Ubers. And the company's going to be called Uber Chopper.
I love it. I love it. Why not?
Oh my God. But yeah, it's all happening.
It's coming to pass. Yeah.
Everything that we've seen. And I was telling Sharon earlier too, that we need to do a show just on, was it Star Wars?
Star Wars.
All the stuff in Star Wars that we're now seeing is real.
And Star Trek too.
And Star Trek.
Both.
And what's the other one? Stargate.
Yes, that's another soft disclosure show.
Yeah.
Soft disclosure.
Start making a list of all the things they talk about that was so sci-fi, that's real. It was probably real back then, or getting close to being real.
It's totally. Yeah. Elena Denon, I'm going to talk about her again in her book The Cedars. I'm finally at 400 and something, page 400 and something, but it's
a big one, huh?
Big one. Yeah, I've got to start marking pages. She has been shown Stargate underneath the Giza plateau, underneath the Sphinx, and also the Hall of Records there, and there was a civilization down there. And she ran to the Guardian, or he met her there, Haron, and I know you'll recognize this dude.
Haron?
Oh,
he's the Lyran lion.
He's not.
I love it.
He's not a Lyran, she says. I know, because that's what I thought.
Well, I just third eye to third eye. So what did they say he is?
She said he's he's one of the Guardians. Tall, strong humanoid being with the head of a lion.
Well, he might be Lyran, but he might be a hybrid from the Lyrans too.
Well, let's see what she says, what he told her. 7 feet tall. She said he wasn't.
They started mixing all those guys up too. Like he could be a Lyran, Sarian.
No, he's from a different, according to this, he's from a different universe or something like that.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happened with Lyra, is they were attacked and they messed them up.
Yeah,
and all
by the
those guys had to
reptilians.
flee.
Yeah, and by the reptilians in the Naboo.
My cat's here. Let me ask him who it is. He'd know.
Okay.
Do you know who that guy is?
He would.
Do you know who he is? He said, yeah, but he's not going to tell us.
Yep.
He's sworn to secrecy.
Fine.
If he tells us,
does he work for the government or something?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sitting there going, you foolish humans.
I know she says in here where he's from, but
is it Armatana by chance?
Does
that ring a bell?
Here she says, at first I thought he was a La'an from the Lyra constellation, but to my surprise, this being was not even from this galaxy. His culture was more ancient than the seeding in Lyra. So he comes from before the beings in Lyra. He belongs.
The beings in Lyra had to come from somewhere, right?
He belongs to the root race for all the feline humanoids spread throughout this galaxy, and was part of the same group of intergalactic races who left these devices on Earth. His species was another of the myriad races composing the Intergalactic Confederation. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's what she says that he told her.
Interesting.
Because that's the first thing I thought of too.
Well, yeah, because they come in with that beautiful, majestic energy, but also it's like where the Lyrans come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish they would tell us where he came from, though. They didn't give us a name. They just said far, far away.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe she has other experiences with him. Maybe maybe that was all that he
Maybe
could
it's in
tell her.
another book.
Maybe, or I think she's probably limited on the information she can share, which she's sharing a lot. But he just says his culture was more ancient than the seeding in Lyra. Belongs to the root
Interesting.
race for all the feline humanoids. So he's in a different throughout this galaxy. Yeah. So it's from this galaxy, but I was wrong about that. But
There's so much going on out there.
there
We
is.
don't know. You know, we really don't. All that has been hidden. You know, but there's the information is, you know, on the CBT plates. The information is under the Sphinx.
Mhm.
My understanding is that the Sphinx is the Lyran, right? It's representative of that connection with Lyra, and then the pyramids are lined up with the Sirius, the Sirian, as
Mhm.
I've heard some people say, and that was what that energy was. That's who they were speaking to,
Yeah.
with the Lyrans and the Sirians, the Sirius.
Well, apparently Anunnaki came from the Syrian Sirius B. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and they
Nibiru is
got
actually a
distorted.
huge ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is coming back now, I understand.
Yes, is here
Yeah,
apparently, or
and the
coming back.
Anunnaki got infiltrated too. They are not all good. You need to be careful of those guys too.
Well, yeah, they yeah,
Yeah, with everybody, seriously. There's the
unfortunately.
good and bad of everything
Right.
anymore. It's like the more you study, it's like, oh yay, we're good with those guys. Oh no, there's bad of them too. But maybe, oh yeah, okay.
Just like the Ashtar command, the Ashtar,
Yeah,
the original
Galactic
Ashtar,
Federation
the original Ashtar,
was from
uh,
Jupiter.
no, it was in the Syrian constellation, I believe,
Oh, I
was
thought he
actually
was connected with
infiltrated.
Jupiter.
Well, they are now. This is a different one. This is an offshoot of the original. And apparently,
Interesting.
yeah, and it was infiltrated by the reptilians. And so they went bad. And
Yeah.
but this is a huge command post outside of Jupiter, the Ashtar command
That's so
there.
interesting because what I hear is a little bit different. And this is what makes all this stuff is so confusing,
I know.
right? Because there's a lot of conflicting, and that's why. And this is what Sharon and I really wanted to talk about is you have to go inside.
Right.
You got to clear your chakras, you got to get your Kundalini, and you've got to make your connection to your highest self, not to Lyra, not to them, not to anybody, to yourself, because you have it all within. Your DNA has all the knowledge, all the wisdom, has it all, and what is right for you. And that's the other thing, because that's part of the reason there's so much of this conflicting information, is that it may not be the same for everybody. There may be a difference. There may be a purpose for, like Sharon, some things that I don't agree with.
Mhm.
I do some things she doesn't agree with, but that's okay.
Mhm.
Right? It's okay because we have both, because I know what I know resonates with me. She knows what resonates with her, and we can still come together and respect each other and do our show together and love each other and do this. And there's a reason for that. And maybe it's to teach us to start doing exactly what Sharon and I do. Come together with opposing opinions and love and respect each other and have our own sovereignty, our own power, our own knowing,
Right.
and allow other knowings to be, because that falls under the umbrella of the law of one. We're all one. It's all one. It's all good. Ultimately, it's all in love and light. And maybe that's why all this conflicting information is coming up, because I've watched stuff and study stuff, and it's like everybody's got something that's a little bit different. And if you buy into it and make it your religion, it gets really confusing and frustrating. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, totally. And and the reason I trust And it doesn't mean I trust everything that certain people say, but I trust certain people like Elena, and people like that, because it confirmed what she brings forth. It confirms my own experiences.
Right.
And that's it's so
And Elena doesn't vibe with me. When I watch her, I don't feel good. I'm like, "Meh."
yeah, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And I prefer to read her books,
Mhm.
right? And I know that English is not her first language, and so she's can be a little hard to follow sometimes, but
Yep.
but I do feel that she's truthful,
Yeah.
and I feel that she
And her truthful, and that's awesome.
right, and that's my perspective on it,
Right.
and again, because my experiences were confirmed by what she is
Right.
sharing, so that's
And
why.
and what I study confirms what I do, which is
Right.
in conflict with what some of the things you say. And it's okay,
Yeah. Now, how much
because
how
we're not
conflict?
religious.
Well, we're not religious,
We're
but
spiritual, and we go by our own inner knowing, and
yeah,
we love and honor other people, because there is no right way.
there is
There
no
is no one way.
no.
It's all right, and it's all good, and it's all love.
There's
And we
many,
have to
many,
be really
many,
careful.
many ways to the top of the mountain.
Yep.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about information that is thousands and thousands of years old, hundreds of thousands of years old,
Right.
some things can, it doesn't, I mean, we can't even get it straight on the last 200-300 years in our country, or the last 2 years in our country, right?
Right, exactly.
So how can we expect to know everything from people out there
Yep.
about the last, especially information that's been hidden from
Right.
us?
Exactly.
And like you're
And
saying,
that's why
that's why
it's
it's
so
so
important.
to go within.
Right. And to
Yeah.
not, because someone doesn't believe the way you believe, to not tell them they're wrong.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so important that we honor all these differences, because that's part of what's fallen apart on this planet.
Yeah.
Is everybody is so divisive, and we've got to stop. Just because someone thinks differently, talks differently, believes differently, does not make them wrong.
Yes. And think about it. When we start being told and shown extraterrestrials are walking among us, and they look a little different, and then start becoming a little more different, how are we going to accept that? But it's
Right.
happening. It's happening now. There are extraterrestrials walking among us. And so if someone comes up to us, they're more human looking, and there's others. We've seen videos of them, they're
Yeah.
really weird, but
Yeah.
there's good ones too. So positive ones. So how, if we can't even accept each other who are different or have different views about things and different experiences and perspectives, how are we going to be able to accept someone who comes up and says, hey, I'm from Alpha Centauri, I just flew in yesterday,
And
right?
I would like to suck your blood.
No. And
Oh, no, not those guys.
not those guys. No, just meeting them in the grocery store, right? Oh,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Alpha Centauri. Are we going to be able to do that? Right now people will say, oh, there's crazy one over there.
911. We got a Looney Tune come pick them up.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
like you're saying, we have to be able to accept people's differences, and maybe not everyone's crazy that thinks and actually has experiences that we can't put in our realm of understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why, again, it's so important to go within. It's like, I know what feels right for me. I also know that we grow and change, and what's not right for me 3 years ago might be right for me now. So we have to understand that everything is shifting and changing.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to maintain our sovereignty and respect the right of others' sovereignty, there's no more right and wrong. There's no more right and wrong. There's no more me and you. There's no more up and down. There's no more black and white. As long as it's not harmful, right? Harmful, that's a different thing.
That's
But,
different.
belief systems aren't harmful. as long as they're not being used in a harmful way. And it's wonderful to come together and in discourse. I remember in high school, you used to have debate team.
Yeah.
I've had kids go, I don't remember anybody being on debate team and
They don't have
learning
it
how to
anymore.
talk. I don't think they do.
Yeah, you don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah. And
Now
that's
it's just
important.
fighting,
Yeah.
arguing and fighting among,
Yeah.
because people get so offended if someone doesn't agree with them, or, people get
Yep.
so offended, but we're going through, that's, don't want to make this a bitch session, but
But people feel if others don't believe the way they believe, that it makes them wrong. And
yeah,
so it begins to shatter their identity.
there's room for every,
There's room for
every perspective. And again, like what you're saying, as long as it's not harmful to us or
Yeah.
them. Yeah. But also believe that, feel that, not but, and the more we widen our perspective,
Yeah.
the more belief systems come crashing down, and we don't really believe, it's not a belief as much as it's a understanding of how, how multi-leveled we are, and how, complex we are, and how beautiful this whole reality is. And there's
Yeah.
so much to experience. And it doesn't have to be my way or the highway, for one thing, but there's just so much out there. And that's what Yeshua did. He traveled the world learning from other belief
Yeah.
systems and other, faiths and teachers and masters and that kind of thing. He didn't, he wasn't Christian. He he embraced
There were
all
no
of,
Christians
there were no
until the
Christians.
500s or something.
Yeah,
And the broader your perspective, the more you start seeing how everything fits together too.
right.
Right. And that's what he did. He wasn't
Yes.
trapped in Judaism.
No, no, wasn't he a Jewish rabbi?
They
He
called him
was. They called him rabbi.
rabbi.
Yeah.
But was he officially a rabbi?
I don't know.
Rabbi
I don't
just means
remember.
teacher.
Okay.
So yeah. So I don't know if he was officially rabbied. He got his rabbi suit, rabbi card.
Document. Yeah, his card, his certification.
But yeah, it's interesting, and it's so important that for us to have our sovereignty, we have to allow everybody else's sovereignty. We must. We have to let everything and everybody
Yeah.
be sovereign.
Yes, sovereign. Free to
And that
think
means
as they
I don't get
want.
to tell Sharon that she's wrong, and she doesn't get to tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I do. Oh, well,
Well,
okay.
she will anyways, but I don't have to listen to her. And it's okay.
Don't tell my partner that. Don't tell
Don't
my boyfriend that. Then I don't get
don't
to
tell
tell
the
him that he's
husbands,
wrong. Don't tell the man. Yeah, don't tell him.
because
Or
they're always
the
wrong.
wives. Yeah, I know.
Poor guys. Poor things.
If only they would realize that.
This is why they keep this stuff secret. This right here.
Hey, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Then we'll get
Yes,
off our
ma'am.
let's get off our soapbox here. Okay.
I like it up here.
I know. Yeah, the pedestal we're on. Okay. We put ourselves on. All
I
right.
climbed on up here. Don't leave me too long. I'll fall off.
I wanted to talk about the pods. Okay. So
Oh my gosh, yes.
I have had I had a couple of experiences where I woke up in an out-of-body experience and I'm in a pod, like a cryogenic pod kind of thing. And there's a whole bunch of, and I'm sitting up and I'm looking around, there's a whole bunch of them around with me, and there's someone standing there talking to me. I didn't understand it at all. This was, I'm going to say maybe 15 years ago. And it was just so clear. I remember, you know how you have those experiences, no matter when you had them, you still remember them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I was going through my quickening, I had a super clear vision. It wasn't out of body, but it was a super clear vision. One of those real holographic or whatever it is, where you're taken there to this experience. And it could have been an out of body experience. It was just so clear. And I'm in what I think at the time is like a sarcophagus. and I'm being
Right.
pushed into the wall, and I'm alive, and I'm in there to because I have, and I know, I mean, have a knowing of this because my soul has gone into another body to finish a mission, or and it felt like it was in real time. I don't know, but and then Elena Denon writes about it, that she has a body, an avatar on another planet somewhere. And then I watched this video the other day. I think it was on Jeff Mara's podcast, where he talks to people who have NDEs. And she says that during her NDE, she's taken on board a ship where she's in a pod, and there's a whole bunch of pods around her, just like what I saw. And she realized that her body is there, and she's just like the movie Avatar. Why does this feel familiar? Like we talked about this before, but where
Because Avatar has a lot of good stuff in it.
yeah, totally. Where she is sending that information, transmitting to that avatar from that pod.
Yeah.
So
it's like in the Matrix.
yes.
When Neo gets plugged in, he wakes up and he's in that huge structure with all those pods. And I remember when I saw that, my first thought was, oh, that's how they do it. And there was like, that's how they do it? It was like there was a knowing of this being an avatar of someone in a pod.
Yeah, that was more negative in the Matrix when he woke up that way and got
I didn't take
unplugged.
it that way.
The way you didn't take it as negative?
No, I took it as understanding that we were avatars.
Oh, right.
That we were in different places at once. That was the only thing I got out of the movie the first time I watched it.
Oh,
the rest of it was
yeah.
like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was a huge, not a soft disclosure. That was kind of hard disclosure movie.
Yeah, that was a slam.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I felt like they were, what I understood from it was that they were actually held like in enslavement in those pods, kind of thing. And what I was getting from my experiences, just like Thoth talks about in his book, is that the halls of Amenti, that he has an avatar body in there, and he's had avatar bodies where his soul leaves, and these bodies are in cryogenics, and that's happening now.
Yeah,
people are being put in stasis.
And my understanding is we're those of us that are the star seeds and the indigos and the light workers, we're all avatars. We all have part of ourselves up in that 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th dimension. And we brought ourselves down into this space to be here at this time to help during all this. Yeah. And to be the ones that are doing shows like this and bringing the information out, and all the people that are doing this kind of stuff in the million different ways it's done.
Right, totally.
You bring it up, right?
Yeah, we have higher parts of us. I see this as an actual physical body. Actual physical body on
absolutely.
Yeah. On
and I have a unicorn up there too, by the way.
Well, of course you do. Yeah. But that, I mean, I just kind of, when I was getting that information with Elena, and it just kind of threw me for a loop, because wow, I'd not heard that before from anyone that I can remember. And then it shows up again not long after I read it from her in a YouTube video that I saw. Same type of thing. So I'm just curious if anyone who's watching, if any of you have had that kind of experience and thought maybe, or had that memory of it.
I remember being in the sarcophagus, and one of the last initiations that we have to go through is you're in the sarcophagus and you leave your body and you go and take another body and begin to, that's how you become an avatar. You
and
get
leave
to that level.
Leave your body in the halls of Amenti. Yeah.
And then you can do things like come here and help with rescue missions.
And okay, so we're born, but that's reincarnation. We're born in a body. You're
No,
talking about using that same body, bringing your soul back to that body, and then
eventually, yeah,
and it
eventually.
gets
Right,
activated when
right.
the
But
time is
as
right.
avatar, we take this, our soul, and we create another body as we descend down in densities to become me. Ta-da! I created this body. That's why the DNA in this body is the recorder, the recording of all of those dimensions and all of that knowledge, because it is. We brought all that with into the DNA.
I understand that, right? Okay, so what I guess what I'm not understanding is, so how do you bring the physical body down if you're not born into this body, or you don't, or not using an avatar body that's already here?
I am the avatar,
You are the
and
avatar,
my other aspect, other dimension is in the higher dimension, and there's many dimensions that we exist in.
right? I understand that. Yeah.
So a part of me decided I needed to be on earth at this time of great change and magical awesomeness, and created this body,
Okay.
this avatar around my spiritual energy, bringing in the coding for the DNA that then encoded into the physical DNA when this physical body became physical.
When the body became physical within the womb,
Correct.
when it's
Correct.
born. Okay. I thought you were
Correct.
talking about just manifesting out of thin air.
Well, I could do that too, but it freaks people out.
Okay, so you're talking about when you come into the womb rather than being brought into an avatar body that's in
Now, that's how
stasis.
most of us do it as an
Right.
avatar, because we are avatars. Most of us are Christ avatars. We come down from the, what is that, 13th dimension
Mhm.
as Christ. We
Okay.
have that Christ energy. That's why we're connected to Yeshua and Jesus and all that stuff. And that's part of our soul,
Oh,
because
that's another thing. Go ahead.
we
Sorry.
exist in all kinds of different places. Some of the teachings that I do is we have hundreds of us in all these different dimensions existing all at the same time. That eternal now concept, that we
Right.
exist everywhere at all the same time. That's part of what that is about too.
Sure.
Some of it's physical, some of it's not. Some of it is soul energy, consciousness energy, plasma energy, crystalline light energy. We're all over the place.
Yeah, we're multidimensional. I mean, that's what we say all the time is we're just so much more than we realize. But another thing I forgot to tell you was that Elena says that she is part of the Magdalene stream.
I'm not surprised. We're all
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I saw something, and I actually tried to send it to you and it wouldn't send. I can't remember what it was, but it's a woman who believes she is Mary Magdalene now, like we all do, right? And
Where we carry that within us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she feels like that she is the one, but that's part of the distortion of belief systems that we, can get caught in. But another woman who's out there teaching it, and it's part of the Christ energy. It's the Christ energy.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I don't know what else. Is there anything I wanted to share that part about the pods?
The pods, they've been using pods since the
Yeah.
Egyptian times.
And I had an out body yesterday, and then we, if we don't have anything else, we can stop. But I just wanted to share this too.
Oh,
Where,
that's right. That's right. I knew that.
yeah, where I was, I don't know if this was a future. Well, it could be a future life because, well, I don't know. I had 5 kids, but it was a
Yikes.
parallel life, and I feel it was, and I know it was in a higher dimension because, and I'm just being taken there, and I'm aware that I'm here, and I'm aware that I'm there. So I'm aware of Sharon here, and I'm aware of myself there. And I see my house, and it's futuristic. It's just gorgeous, and has these mosaic type of furnishings and things like that. And then I get, well, you furnished it, you decorated. I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. And there's, it's just super, super clean, and there's no nothing, that's kind of out of place type of thing as I look at it. And then as I'm looking at it, I realize I was out for about an hour in this experience. So I had gone
Wow.
through probably a couple of years in that life there, or at least months, where I have, now that I think about it, it could have went from me, for me and my mate to just moving in there or just creating our home to having a family, because then I have, and I didn't raise any children in this life, just animals, but I have 3 boys, and in this experience, it was so clear. I have a 3-year-old boy and 2 older boys, and then 2 girls that are older. And I felt this so much love, and that I could not even describe for my children, right? And my family kind of
Mhm.
thing. And my
Mm, yeah.
husband, or my mate, my husband, my partner, was a big guy, and he had white hair, like down to his shoulders. He looked, I don't know, we were probably in our, I don't know, 30s or something. I don't know. There was no age there. I don't know how old we were, but I just couldn't love my life and my children enough in my life. And we had a woman that, and afterwards I was thinking, well, was she a robot or a droid or something that took care of the house for us? That's why it was so clean all the time.
Ooh, meet George Jetson.
I know. And I don't know if but she looked human, and
What are you doing?
we interacted like she was human, and I cared for her. So and and there was a little white dog that I really enjoyed, but it was in a much higher frequency, and I was there living this life, but also aware that I was here.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah. Anyway, I
Excuse
just wanted
me.
to share that
That's
because I thought
really
it was really
cool.
cool.
And especially when you feel it so viscerally,
Yes.
like it was happening.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's that multidimensional thing. We've
Mhm.
got all kinds of stuff going on everywhere. Can you imagine if we knew everywhere that we were and everything that we were? That'd be crazy.
It would, yeah, I think well, we'd have to be in a place of frequency where we were able to do that. And
To manage it.
that's what we can do in the higher frequencies. We
Right.
can see all of our, we have to, we can see all of our existences.
Yeah. This dense frequency is kind of getting annoying.
Well,
We
that's
can't
why
do
we're
all the fun
here,
stuff here.
to get out of it. We're out of it. We're out of it now. We're out of it.
So funny. Last night I was doing something and I started moving my hand and I was like, God, these are so weird. It was so, I have this thing. It's like my brain does this little weird thing. It's like, ooh, yeah, wow, the hands. Wow. God, these things are weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I don't even think we're in 3D anymore.
I don't think we are either, Sharon. Thank you for
For us.
saying
Yeah.
that. I just
I
get
think
the
it's
weirdest
collapsed.
things. Yeah. It's like I get like this little weird little spinny thing every once in a while. And it's like I'm just not in the same place.
Yeah. There's probably pockets of it where people, or we might feel, you know, down and in dumps and afraid or whatever, and angry, and that's okay, but just move out of it very quickly,
Yeah.
because and that's part of the deal. That's part of being human.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that this dimension, this matrix that we've been existing in for so long, is viable anymore. I don't think
No,
I think it's
no.
already collapsed.
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
Yeah. It's definitely. And it's just kind of like the rubble is just
Yeah.
it's like the big, like the two tower things. It's like they came down, it just poof, poof, and I think
Yeah.
that's the part we're in right now.
Right. I agree.
But
So
that's
we're
okay
watching the
because
fallout.
yeah, there's so many people on this planet that came here for this time. We're all well equipped for it. We've done this 1,000 times before. We're probably doing it in another dimension right now. So we got this.
We got
We got
this.
this.
And
Just stay in love.
you got this. That's right. Just stay in love. And that's how
Yeah.
we manifest, and that's how we
Yeah.
manifest all of our desires.
Yeah,
Which going back
absolutely.
full circle, back to where we started, alchemy.
Yep, exactly.
And that's how we can reprogram our DNA.
Yes, that was why we started bringing that up, is using the Kundalini energy, sexual alchemy, Tantra, whatever we call that, and using that energy and using it wisely, using it in love, using it in peace and harmony with those intentions,
Right.
and allowing it to heal the body too. It'll heal your body. Your bodies aren't supposed to be sick. It'll cleanse the body of this thing, if you've got that going on, or anything, that it's powerful. The body knows what to do, but we've been telling it for so long that it doesn't, that only a doctor knows. Don't be talking about anything because only doctors know. Been telling our bodies that for so long. We need to start reminding our bodies that you know what to do. You
Yeah.
know how to get rid of this. You know how to transform all this stuff. We're healing machines.
Yes, we are human
And we're not
computers.
supposed to be AI robots. I don't personally.
No, we're biological entities with computer software
I
and
like that
hardware.
word avatar.
Avatar.
I
There we
might
go.
change my name.
So yeah, so to Avatar or Avi.
Avatar Avi
Avi.
Ambergy. I think it'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
Avi, I like it. So we are and I've always felt this, like we're in a projector up in the higher planes, projecting our experiences to our avatar body, which is our computer kind of thing, our avatar computer, and our brain is our processor. Our DNA is our recorder that holds all of our memories and all of our experiences and of the whole universe. And so we're just projecting, telling ourselves, okay,
That's a
so
great way to
go
put
do
it.
this, go do
Yep.
that. Yeah.
And we have to learn to get back in and learn how to use the computer. And part of the computer keys are the chakras.
Yes, there we go.
Right?
They're part of our processors. There are
Yep.
processors.
And we
There
have
are
to
other
learn how to use them
yeah,
again.
yeah,
Sound, huge. Primal light, primal sound. So important. That 432 hertz thing, so important.
yeah.
I saw a video, I think it was, where a guy played on a guitar, a 440 and a 432. Huge difference how the body feels it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never seen it done like that.
Wow, yeah.
440, it was beautiful. I was like, oh, that's nice. 432, the entire body shifted.
Oh, wow.
It was like, wow.
Yeah,
Another thing to be aware of too. That affects the DNA.
yeah. So how do you find that out?
Several different ways. Ask. What did you tune your music to? There actually are tuners that you can actually listen to something and it'll tell you what
The hertz?
the hertz are. They're a little pricey. You can tune a guitar to a 432 and then you can do the notes and you can see if they resonate with what you're listening to. But most music is a 440 or weird things. So
Yeah.
but we're learning, we're remembering, right?
Yeah, just
Remembering
listen.
all this stuff, so it's changing.
Right. And always listen to how you feel. Listen to your listen to your body. Yeah. Yeah. All righty.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground here this evening.
Yes, I think so too.
Everybody should be ready to ascend.
Or ascending at this moment.
Matter of fact, I just heard 3 go.
3 go.
Woo, pew, pew. They just shoot off like that.
Don't forget about us little people down here. Okay. No. Welcome to the ascension. Welcome to
there
the
goes
fifth.
Another one.
Welcome to the 5th dimension. I swear we haven't been drinking or anything, or anything.
No, because we don't drink.
No, we don't. Or
We don't do
smoking or-
anything. This is all natural.
It is.
This is ascension juice.
Okay. All right, darling. Thank
I
you,
love you. Bye,
everyone.
everybody. Thank you for
Mwah.
watching. Be
Don't forget
good.
to do all those things, like subscribe and do all those things. By the way, I'm having a course coming up, past life, soul retrieval. Well, it's geared toward practitioners, budding practitioners, and practitioners that do not do Akashic record readings, and clearing karmic programming. So this is a 3-part
Nice.
course. Yeah, and it's a certification course for practitioners coming up
Nice. I
on
just got done doing
Sunday.
it. A lot of people need it. And
Mhm.
I've got a intuitive protection class coming up on the 19th. And
Nice.
learn how to protect your fields, work with your chakras, and build your Merkaba body.
There you go.
So got all the
See?
good stuff right here. You don't need anything else. Just follow us. We're good.
Just follow us. That's all you need. All right. Bye.
Mwah.